Check 1. Check 2. Check 3. This is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming back again and again with another episode of swilling some great coffee and puffing on a little herb and talking some this and that about what not and what is not, and where we're at. Where we're at is this moment in time. I have some great cannabis. This was called I think it was Gelato Daze. It's lemonade and gelato. But it's pretty good cannabis. I just have my simple chellum here. I think I'm gonna get another one. I dig it, but the clogging thing bums me out. Going into the future, I gotta change up the smoking devices or maybe go spliffs. It's just the glass gets clogged up and it bums me out. I do have the steamrollers or a new super nice piece of glass bowl. Maybe I'll get one of those down the line. But I do have I have a great cup of coffee. It's Italian coffee again. I have the can of it, but then I put it somewhere. I powered through it. I got the whole beans and I grounded it up, and I used the Chemex. It's ILLY Cafe, and they have I always like these containers. Illy coffee, gourmet coffee and Italian coffee machines. Yeah, I guess they make espresso machines, but then they also make gourmet coffee. Okay, yeah, this is kind of like the old school Italian coffee beans, but they were like $14, and they come in this cool tin that would be great. Like when I think about selling herb, I think about putting it in these old coffee tins. They have all right, okay. Accept all cookies. I'll accept you. They have a great website. illy, ILLY. Leaves are falling and coffee is calling. All right, I can dig it. I just wanted a little background. These guys have been around so big, and I think they're kind of like the Folgers of Italy. You know what I'm saying? But man, it is good coffee. I mean, it's not as toned out as Stumptown or some of these others, but it is a good, when I was in my drinking days, like a good Budweiser was nice. Because it was just a classic good American beer, where I think this is kind of like that. This is just a classic good Italian coffee. I don't think, I think all classes of citizens, or, I think Italy takes their coffee a little bit serious. So, and because they've been doing it longer. So I think this is just not their basic. I hate using the word basic now, because the younger generation, its connotation is base level, which it is. But when your base level is good, you're doing all right. But let me have a little sip of this coffee. Fall is in the air, no doubt about it, on the East Coast. It's leaves everywhere. We're talking bright yellows. We're taking oranges. No, not much greens. A little bit of greens. But it's getting a little colder. Halloween's coming on. There was this great metal band called They weren't great. They were cheesy. As you know, I grew up in Virginia during the 80s. I was born in D.C., but as you know, if you listen to this podcast. But yeah, I grew up with a lot of metal. I knew a lot of metalheads, and I never was a metalhead, but I did like I think I always dug really good graphic design and art and shit. And the thing about heavy metal albums, you see them on all the t-shirts of the young youth today, like, Iron Maiden had some sick album covers, so spacey, so trippy, so graphic, so, just colorful and super creative and almost comic book characterette. That's kind of like where rock and roll made this like comic book jump, but it's always been there in terms of, when you get down to the brass tacks, it's, show business, it's the business of entertainment. And that's what rock and roll is. It's like catchy and, at the time, but it's not the smartest, but it's, it's like the Stones say, I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. Yes, I do. Well, I like it. Well, I like it. Well, I like it. Oh, yeah, I like it. They talk about the simplicity of trap rap. What about that song right there? It's really simple, but that's the best thing is simplicity. I think everybody's getting into raw foods. And the trick I'm learning from my more healthier cats are you want to look at the ingredients, and the least amount of ingredients is the better food. Got to get to the source. We talked about local sourcing coffee last time, environmentally friendly coffee, lava zaba. But now we're on the illy. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but illy, but it is a really good cup of coffee. I use the Chemex. You got to ground the beans. What I learned with illy, every cup is a little bit different with the Chemex. There is an art to it. I need to do a video. I'll start posting. Make sure you subscribe to the Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube page. You'll get all the live videos that were once on the Patreon. I have all the ones that I deem dope worthy. I'm shooting every week, so some of the videos aren't great. Some, I'm learning. I'm looking at stuff, and what I'm learning is the re-edit and the rewrite, especially with these writing projects. It's literally just the rewrite. It's the force of momentum you got to do to fill the space, and then you got to go into rewrite mode. But yeah. So just removing things from your life. A lot of like the Zen stuff that I've been doing. I haven't been meditating, but I have been doing my 5 Tibetan stretches as soon as I get up in the morning. And then I found a pull-up bar. One of those things that connects to your door. Like ever since but New York, like people leave stuff places, and you could tell it's somebody that just moved out and they're leaving stuff behind. I've done that. I've done a couple times in my life. I've done full on like sell everything down to a backpack. Twice I've done that. Because you'll just start gathering more shit eventually. And I have friends that have like a bunch of storage places. I don't want to ever get to a place where I gotta have storage spaces. But if you have like a band and shit, I get that. Or, my friends that have storage are like DJs, usually musicians. A lot of musicians have storage space because, rent's hard, and then you got to store equipment and stuff like that. But, I hope this is picking up all right. I'm checking out the levels. Maybe that helped. I think maybe this thing wasn't plugged in super good. Let me just check the levels on that recording. Hold on. Okay. Well, the levels weren't perfect. I think it was just like I used this old school microphone. It's a Shure SP150. This is like a stage mic. This is the same mic I would use at a comedy club. But the thing about microphones and sound is you got to check the connection, because it isn't like an automatic plug-in. Like this is like that shit that goes right in. So I think it wasn't squeezed in there just right. And I know there's a dent in this. I think I dropped it, so after a while it gets dented and stuff. But I like the durability. I know they have those super big dog, $2,000 isolator, super fresh ones. But this is, my podcast is more run and gun, and this is good sound, and I'll mix it in there good to make sure it's quality. Because we're all evolving. Don't you try a little bit harder? That's The Wheel by the Grateful Dead. Great studio album. I know I've talked about that song before, but I have been playing that. Playing a lot of Grateful Dead, a lot of Stick Figure, a lot of jazz, a lot of what's that joint? Lo-fi hip hop. Have a girl like petting a cat, looking out the window doing homework, or some type of animation. I've been looking into doing more of that. I want to incorporate that more into the YouTube page. Yeah, I was talking about the YouTube page. Yeah, definitely like and subscribe to the YouTube page. It is growing, and that's the way we can make this even better with your support and love. And I know you're out there digging on this. I got a little herb in my one hitter. I'm gonna fire it up and talk to you some more. I had some great chocolates. I was running out of herb, but then my man hooked me up with some herb. But I did have these dark chocolates that were 10 milligrams, and they were actually like delicious. They weren't that powerful, but they were awesome. They gave me just enough, and the chocolate tastes really good. I mean, I'm a connoisseur of chocolate. I definitely like my dark chocolate. I like it, 70 to 85% cocoa is what we're looking at. I don't know what it is about that, but I think it's a mood thing. I really think that there's going to be a renaissance in health, mental health, physical health. The flu is getting funky out there. Like, I got my fourth booster shot. And it hit me a little bit, I gotta admit, the arm hurt, but I'm glad I got it. I just think this thing could go sideways all the time, and what's happening is everybody's hanging out again, which is awesome. I haven't been fully doing it that much. I go into a grocery store, I usually throw on my mask, sometimes I don't now. And as you know from this podcast, I was pretty super hardcore. But we were ready. I was in the eye of the motherfucking storm. So that's just how the gig went. But this week I've just been doing stretches and writing. And it's really a discipline, It's a discipline, and sometimes it takes me away. I have to almost just cut myself out from the universe. It's really like bricklaying to me. Like, it isn't hard once it starts flowing. It's just that one trick of getting it flowing and then focusing. And that's what the phones and all this stimuli has interfered with. Like, it was always kind of hard for me to focus in, and I always thought it was creativity, but now I'm starting to understand that sometimes it's just your mind racing, and you just gotta cut it out and get to the work and get to the gig. It's all about getting to the gig, doing the gig, and getting home safely. Nobody gets hurt, nobody gets burned, nobody move, nobody gets hurt. Having some great coffee. that was a sample, and it's like an old saying of sticking somebody up, robbing them. A lot more crime on the street. Gotta admit it. It's out there. I think there's a weird eeriness of the unknown, but we have to always embrace the unknown because it's empty and it's nothing and it's new. So whatever the energy you got going, you just go into that, and then hopefully it is good. Now, yesterday I've had some ups and downs, and but what I am learning is just taking my time, and not like life. I really don't think it's not about rush. Even though you got to rush to survive in New York, in the beginning at least. But it can burn you out. You start to learn, like again, I think it's all about what you do that's sustainable. What without much, energy and wear and tear, because eventually it all goes away. Ooh la la la. Yeah, I love this herb. I love this coffee. It's kind of a cool fall day. I got my sweatshirt. I got my pants that I got from Costco. They're not like full Kirklands. Shout out to Shang Wang, the comedian. He has a great bit on Kirkland pants. That's the company. Kirkland everywhere, man. And all their stuff is kind of good, but I still feel weird. I don't know. Sometimes we overthink I think the business stuff and everything, almost overthinking everything when we have it all right now. Everything, I think that's the thing about, like they say about reaching enlightenment. Like the next day, you're still doing the dishes. You'll never stop doing the dishes, even if the dishes humble you, Cooking humbles you. Cleaning humbles you. Serving others. But I love serving myself. But you start to, man, everything is like a trick that way. Not everything, but it's like, you look at Kanye or Trump, like the self-serving aspect of celebrity and even drugs to a certain aspect. That even with cannabis, I think, like, smoking and getting inebriated, getting high, it is about yourself, But I do think there's medical purposes, keeping the joints rolling, keeping it soft, keeping the blood pressure down. But, we're all learning that thing. As I say, as we're walking into the unknown, and that's why I think tensions are up. But that's why my peripheral's on a little bit, in terms of just weird people going sideways, because it seems like that. But hang on and be kind, and, that's what I think the gig is like, it's like, we have it all, we already have it. We just have to let go and let it happen. Oh yeah, getting trippy, getting hippie. Watch out, it's kind of slippery out there. Oh yeah, inside. When I think, I go inward, and then I say, oh word, it's outer space. There's so much for the human race to get along. Let me smoke my bong. Here's my song. Give peace a dance. There's a little freestyle for you. I have been freestyling a little bit more. But yeah, check out my video. It's not really super blowing up, but I love it. It's called Give Peace a Dance. You can stream it on Spotify. But I don't want to have the most plug-lacious plug. Oh yeah, we're going to plug on my podcast plug. And here's my dates, and here's my album plug. I never wanted that type of vibe. At least, no, I think you want a little bit of it now and then, but you don't want to overburden the listener, which is you. And I appreciate you. I love you. Roll up, smoke up. I've been making more beats. Might have to not let my secret out with my new beats I've been making. I got a hold of the secrets in. I've been cooking up some more beats in the lab. I've been having fun with it. It's kind of a great break from writing is making music. It's almost the complete opposite, but it's actually the same, creating something out of nothing, which is the dopest shit, which is nature, growing the seed. Cannabis, literally, it's kind of crazy, it's such a cash crop, even fruit, even all this shit, because Mother Nature makes it for free. But you gotta process it, you gotta package it, we're all connected, so it's like, you could be like, oh, we don't need government, we don't need this, we don't need that, I'm a free, but it's like, we're all in this game together. That's what I've been thinking about, like, whether you're talking Matrix or, a self-improvement book or The Secret or any of those things, I do think it comes back to the mind, and that's why mental health, that's why health in general, you do have all the tools you need if your health is good right now. With it between the internet and everybody needs a job, there's jobs everywhere, but nobody wants to work. I know, it's trippy. That's why I'm in showbiz, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But what I'm learning is that I do like to work, and I've picked up side gigs along the way, and I help out with my family, and I get gigs, and, gigs come and gigs go. So all of that is a lot of work. Doing this podcast is a lot of work. But that's why, I was like, man, I want to smoke weed kind of for the rest of my life. And that's why I incorporated it with the podcast, because I was like, well, especially with editing, it's like the mundane type shit. When I backpacked in the Philippines, I did all these rice terraces, and there was these hash villages that I would smoke the hash. They had great hash. But I remember, I just remember, what was it? I just remember the rice terraces, and just the nature, just breathing in, I guess, all that nature, and making the rice, that's sustainable. I think that's dope, is making rice. And you make it on the side of these mountains and these giant stairs, and it creates all this oxygen. It's wild. I think we have all the answers are here, and even people think computers and all this shit's dope. What I think is nature, how, mushrooms are getting more and more, accepted by society. I haven't done a psychedelic trip. Actually, I will say the one time I took mushrooms, I saw Run DMC. One time, but it was later. It was at this place called the Justice League in San Francisco. I saw Run DMC literally throughout their whole arc. Like I said, the first time I saw Run DMC was on their second album for the Fresh Fest in 1983. You can listen to this story on my album. Here comes another plug. Pure Uncut Joy on Spotify. But since we're already listening, you can just line that shit up. If you want to listen to it Pandora, I'll make the big money on Pandora. So listen to it on Pandora if you fuck with Pandora. Spotify doesn't have my stand-up album. That was the thing. They took it down. But they got my hip-hop album. They got my music album. But they don't have my stand-up. Pandora has my stand-up. And on my YouTube page, all my concentrated content is over on my YouTube page. You can listen to my stand-up album. You can listen to my podcast. You can watch my stand-up clips. I'm going to get new shit coming soon. I just didn't hammer stand-up during the pandemic, and everybody went clip crazy on the super reels. I know comedians that are like big on reels and TikToks that are doing theater tours now. That's what's so wild. But I'm not hating on it. You know, I know that that's out there, and I do like filmmaking and chopping stuff up and learning it. And the thing is that with all this access, it really is on the individual. And I kind of like that pressure because it forces me to be smarter and work harder. And I've been doing, so I got the pull-up bar. I picked up like a pull-up bar that you put in your door frame. Hopefully it won't rip the door frame off. But this one looks new and pretty solid. And the part that connects to the door frame is like this good fiberglass plastic. Like it's not gonna like chomp in there. So, but it's leveled off perfectly that you could just hang from it. So I got one of those joints for free. Somebody put it at the pull-up bar at the park outside. So I knew they weren't using it. Like, I think they were just like, whoever's over here doing pull-ups would like this thing. And I had my car close by, so I just took it after I did some pull-ups at the pull-up bar. I was like, oh, try this out at home. And then I put it at home, and lo and behold, you know, I'm doing 3 sets of 5 pull-ups every day. And I'm doing a hang where I put my legs up and do the human L, you know, kind of like the Olympics. And I've been trying to do 30 seconds like that. That's my new thing. I've been doing that and doing push-ups, walking, eating a ton of fish. And wow, this podcast is getting really exciting. I'm talking about eating fish. But fish, that's the thing. Fish is the dish, man. Because if you get fresh fish, especially the oil, damn, man. That's the best. And then I got some good seltzer here. I've been watering all my plants. You know, sometimes when you get slack on your plants and they get dusty. The plants do get dusty. I want to put this one plant. It hasn't had a proper shower. So I'm looking at this hanging plant. I got this plant that's like ivy in like the 70s hanging type joint from the ceiling. So, but it's been here like 3 or 4 years. I hadn't having it going, but it's a little dusty. I need to take it and put it in the shower. I think this plant will start like screaming with joy. You ever do that? Is like get in the shower. I had a great shower today. Shower, that's one of those simple pleasures where it's like you can have no money in the world to take a hot shower, and it's like, oh, especially in the moment. In the moment, it's like, yeah, that all that dead skin and funk and doo-doo and hair. Not too much doo-doo, but you know what I'm saying. Just like showers are funky, man, and showers are great. That's only the place where you truly are your natural self. No, always trying to be your natural self is the gig. Sometimes you got to wash up, but then there's times where you too much washing. And I think I do take too many showers. Like I take one shower a day, but I do use like shampoo every day, and I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to space it out a little bit and get some grease going. Get some natural grease going. Like we just like do exercise and immediately jump in the shower and wash it all off and put on deodorant so we don't funk. But that is the byproduct of a lot of exercise is a lot of funk. A lot of funky exercise underwear. Oh, man. That's some good seltzer. This is some great herb. I got one of these Daze lighters. One of the best lighters in the world. Get yourself a Daze. I always feel like a pro when I got a Daze. I know these guys got Zippos. I was watching some dudes talking about cigars and their cutters and stuff. And I'm like, nah. I'm more about packing one hitters in good bowls, and these Jeep lighters, which are like kind of $3 lighter, but they're big. Um, they call. I wonder if they're in like is the Jeep. I think it looks like a Jeep, and it kind of sounds like a Jeep, but I don't think it's still combined with the Jeep family. But that would be cool if every Jeep came with a Jeep lighter. um, Elon Musk is taking over Twitter. I don't want to just talk headlines of fucking news items. Because I don't really care, and I'm not that great at Twitter, and I do think it's kind of a distraction. But I do look it out for like news, and which is probably bad. And then I also use it for like live stream news, and then yeah, to check out like some toxic shit now and then. Um, Not toxic, but it's just like there's just so much randomness. I will say, yeah, it's like I think in the future, in terms of like a renaissance of health, like what we're understanding is like how social media is helping society and hurting society, and helping probably mental health and hurting mental health. Like that's a thing, it's like good luck and bad luck. Bad luck is good luck is bad luck, and it's when you hear it, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. But when you've lived, you're like, oh, it kind of like once you start seeing the coming and goings of things, uh that's why I've been thinking about like vibrations, and trying to keep a high vibration during the day. And like certain thoughts and certain emotions are low vibrations, jealousy. I think like jealousy and like gossip, versus mentality. Whereas like gratefulness, kindness, in the momentness takes more presence. But it's less wear and tear. I'm grateful for you giving me a purpose to smoke this herb right now. And I'm grateful for herb. And that's when I like everybody's bumming out. And I'm like, man, pot's about to be legal. Mushrooms are about to get legal. Ways of making money are starting to open up for creative people in ways that we've never even seen before, even fathomed before. It's the tip of the iceberg, and it's always been the tip of the iceberg with everything that's going on. I still don't think we know what being a human is really all about. And maybe we're looking at things, well, I don't know. That's the thing. And I think by not knowing is the real fun. Like that's like the not knowing, not the self-talk. Sometimes when I go off on this podcast, I go into self-talk, which is pretty much a lot of the podcast. But what I like the guest episodes, but I also like the solo ones when I listen back. And I hope I'm not being a narcissist, but I like mixing the music with it. If I try to put myself in the listener, and I'm like, okay, this would be kind of, this would be interesting and funny. I believe in this podcast, and I believe in you. And I believe in herb. I definitely believe that cannabis can help society. There has been some aftershocks with legalization, but I do think it's the repression for that's been so long, and that we're processing really how to harness the earth. Instead of us, working against Mother Nature, we need to harness Mother Nature. And I think solar energy's there. Plants, we're just getting more and more educated. I hear about a new herb that helps everything. as you grow older, it really gets about health. I asked for my birthday the magazine subscriptions. I want Men's Health, I want Rolling Stone, and then what was the third one? It would be The Source. I had a subscription to The Source when I was young. Uh, Source was dope because hip hop wasn't everywhere, and this was before the internet. Before the internet, everything was different, and I do think that's the thing that's happening right now, that we're living in a universe that the internet's been always going on. So it's just been a new way of dialogue and processing information. And now everybody has all this information at hand. Um, so everybody thinks they have the right idea. But everybody doesn't have the right idea for everybody. You got the right idea for yourself. Right idea. Shut the fuck. Shut the hell up. No. I was parking my car the other day, and I didn't yell at anybody, and it didn't say any curse words, but I just told a dude he was stressing me out. And that bummed him out. And it bummed me out that I even brought it up. So I apologized to that person. But I wasn't being a dick. I was just being like, dude, when it's parking and shit like that, and it's during like rush hour, and shit happens. And you gotta let it go. I am excited about finishing up some of these writing projects. I know I've been talking about it. I'll try not to talk about it too much, but it is more about like discipline, and that's what I think about this podcast. Like yesterday, I may have done too many push-ups and pull-ups. I did 3 sets of, what did I do? Yeah, I think 3 to 4 sets of 5 pull-ups. And then I did like 4 sets of 25 push-ups. And then, but I haven't been walking. That's the only thing, is like it's been cold, so I haven't been doing like 10,000 steps. I've been doing more like 4 and 8, which isn't the best, but I've been having a little bit of a tricky knee, so I've been trying to hold it back. But I'll catch up with that here soon. I have been trying to lock down and push some of these writing projects through, which just takes focus and attention. But I take breaks by making beats, which has been fun. So this is kind of the life I always pictured. Everything is everything that I kind of dreamed came true, and even bigger in a weird way. I just didn't become a super millionaire. But you just keep on going, and eventually all this stuff will grow and grow if you put love and concentration and focus into it. And I think those are the ingredients. So if I lose focus, hang in there with me. Whether I put this up on Thursday or Friday. I've been thinking about doing Monday. That way I could just get a jump on it. And life's, nothing happens on Monday morning because everybody's stressed out. And if you do make something happen on Monday morning, everybody thinks you're a dick if you like send an email or something like that. And everybody's just catching up with the week and shit. I think that might, and it's nice to get high on Monday too. I usually smoke a little herb. So, and have a little coffee, because that's the cannabis coffee hour. That's what I enjoy. That's one of the fruits of life, of the creative life. That's what I was talking about. This is exactly. I got a pull-up bar, got some push-ups things. I got a great little setup here. I could do music here. I could do podcasting here. I could do pull-ups here. I could take a walk. I got great coffee. I got a Chemex. Probably the best, you might think it's a douchey style, the Chemex, but it does make a really good tasting cup of coffee. And each one is a little bit different. And that's why you see the care and like the mixing of the grounds and all that stuff. Like instead of like just having a coffee mate where it just sweats it all out and does a simple drip. Like this, I don't know, the texture of the coffee, like especially these last couple cups, like it just tastes so dang good. Um, but I try not to. I try not. To, whoa, 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 whoa. I wanted to maybe check out what I've been listening to. I like going to that general. Whoa, whoa. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It just the songs pop up. And computers are getting so trippy now that they can catch anything. That's with all this wild censorship of, all these crazy podcasts and Kanye and all this shit. It's like, you know, the internet is so. I think it's going to take it down a notch, which I think it needs to be in order to deal with life in real time outside in the moment. Because I do think living an active life is the more natural life, and being outside more and absorbing more outdoor light. I guess maybe I'm saying this because it is light outside and I'm just like hanging out, smoking, doing this podcast. When I should go out for a walk. You guys got me thinking because I was talking about my health and my steps. I haven't, I don't know. I slipped on my steps. I'll try to get out there and step it up. Got to step it up with my steps. Yes. So yeah, this has been some great herb. It's been a great day. It's been, I got a little bit more here. I've been using index cards. Let me tell you, a 3x5 index card, that's the real deal. That's when you're like, I ain't fucking around. I got my index cards here. I'm going to get this thing down to bam, bam, bam. So yeah, a stack of index cards, some push-up bars. I got a little music. I got some plants. Oh yeah. It's time for some romance. No, this is not that type of podcast. But I have been my Spotify. I kind of go back and forth like like they took my stand-up album down, but my music album's up there, my podcast's up there, but I know they're not leaning into my podcast. So I kind of go back and forth, is it evil or not? Um Spotify. But I will say it's a great way to catch up on music, and for some reason, yeah, the app just works. Yeah, I think I told you everything that I've been listening to. I'm trying to think. There's nothing here. Yeah, it's all AC/DC. Yeah, I gotta say, I watched like a Bon Scott AC/DC, um, and it was really young. It was 1977 in London, and it was like kind of like a higher end like London show. And this is like, and they were just dirty and shirtless. And it was just like, just, he was going nuts. Angus Young, this was like young Angus Young. This was like, I don't know, he might not have been 21. And he was just spazzing. But he looked kind of like Billy Strings. Billy Strings is a country bluegrass artist. I've been following him. I like the dude, man. I like the music. I think it's awesome. And a great guitarist and covers great dead tunes. Has a Appalachian bluegrass background. But yeah, this video kind of looked like that. So Billy Strings, if you're listening to this podcast, for Halloween, you should go as Angus Young. You never know with this podcast because the numbers are all over the place. You know, the YouTube page has got a different thing, and then the Spotify's got one thing, the iTunes got another thing. So, you know, it is fascinating where people are listening and where people are growing. Please like and subscribe, all of them. You can send me an email. Got a question, you want to sponsor. We're growing, we're flowing. You never know who's going to show up. Shout out to all the guests, and shout out to myself, and shout out to you. One love. That's it. Peace.